The last time Bitcoin did this, it moved 80% in 2 months. We're gonna talk about some on-chain data for crypto, where we are in the current cycle analysis for Bitcoin, as well as Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and much more. Welcome to Crypto Predator. Hit the like button and subscribe. So after the huge liquidation on October 1st, we just got a new low right here on the week after. However, the low was not further to 100k. So I considered this to be the new weekly cycle low for our analysis, and I believe that from now we are going to bounce a little bit back up, perhaps some correction right here in this daily cycle low window, and then we'll continue the blow off top move. You can also see that it fits perfectly with the RSI quite below the 50 level at around the 30 level, and then is about to continue to go up. So although in our base case we had a small correction right here as I was predicting, and we were continuing to go towards the new all-time high, however we had the huge correction on October 1st. And right now from our base case we are having a little bit of a divergence. This means that we are running out of time in order to get to new price discovery and make sure this is a profitable bull run. Because from what I see right here, we have until around December, who knows, beginning of 2026 until we have the all-time high and the beginning of the next bear market. And I know that everybody kind of forgot about the M2 global liquidity, but I did not. On the 75-day lag, we had a sharp drop right here on the M2, as well as we also had on Bitcoin. And it seems like we are already recovering the price and about to catch up with the global liquidity. The same analysis can be made from the M2 growth and borrowing rate. And as you can see right here, it is still trending down, but I believe that the bottom is quite close. Perhaps we are going to get a new rise on the M2 growth, and then some stability and another rise before the end of 2026 until we actually have a dry out of liquidity. And when we zoom into the 4-hour time frame, after we had the liquidity sweep right here on the downside at the 105-104 level, the price started to rise again, changing the character right here a little bit above the 109 key level. Since this structure was broken, I was expecting a 4-hour order block right here at the 109, and as you can see from my updated tweet right here, we actually got that order block filled with a little bit of liquidity sweep to the downside right here at the 108 key level, and then the price actually pumped. And now when we take a look at the current situation of the 4-hour time frame, we can see that this level right here was already broken, which is the 112 level. After such a break of structure, we can see that this formed a quite interesting order block right here back at the 108, and that's exactly where the price finds itself. Now the question is, how much further can we expect the price to go down? And when we look at the liquidation heat map, we can see that at around the level of 106 800, there is a huge amount of liquidity sitting, which makes this region right here a strong possibility of a liquidity sweep of the price right here, and then we expect the price to bounce back up. However, the biggest question remains, how much of a pump can we expect this time? Because back in 2021, after we had October, we were going up and only until the following year. And we can see a similar behavior going on in Bitcoin price. We had a huge dump causing major liquidations, and then after some consolidation we had a rally. However, we have to admit that the context back in 2020 is completely different of today's context. And the first reason for the different context is the fact that back in 2020, we were in an economic situation of a panic cut. So whenever we had rate cuts by the Fed, it was actually bullish after 3 or 6 and 12 months. In addition to that, we also had the quantitative easing by the Fed, which drove liquidity back into the market. However, that easing started back on March. and it seems like it got some delay in order to be felt by Bitcoin later on. The other important factor is the fact that we were at the end of a second year bull run, entering the third year of Bitcoin bull run. And right now, unfortunately, this is not the case. We are actually at the end of a third year bull run. This means that we are pretty much consolidating, maybe getting a little bit blow off top before the beginning of the next bear market. And since I strongly respect the cycle theory, I believe that the 4-year cycles of Bitcoin will actually continue. I personally do not fall into the idea that we are going to go up forever from now on. And since we are having a strong institutional participation in Bitcoin price right now, I believe that unfortunately, we are not going to have a blow off top like we used to have back in 2020. Everyone is finding out this bull run to be extremely boring. And that's exactly what institutional and smart money participation causes into the price. A lot of consolidation, some blow off, consolidation, some sweeps, more consolidation, blow off top, consolidation, so on and so forth. But even if the next blow off top is not going to be like 70%, we still have a strong possibility of having a less pump before the bear market. If you see right here on the Fear and Greed Index, we are actually circling around the fear level just like we were back on April during the tariff drama. But I'm extremely aware that as time goes by, we are running out of time even more for that blow off top to happen. We are starting to see some ETF outflow going on the blockchain. A little bit back, we can see that we started to have less inflow and the outflow started to go further. It means the institutions are starting to take profit, and I see a similar behavior going on right now. So playing with the numbers here, I actually think that perhaps a 150 as a profit target, maybe 140 is quite possible. But at least a blow off top back to the previous all-time high is quite possible. And another interesting confluence that we see here is that the price of gold started to flip bearish. We don't know if it is for sure or if it's just a retest before continuing to go up, but it seems like gold is already on a weekly cycle window, and that could be the trigger to continue to go down. And sometimes when gold flipped bearish, Bitcoin started to go bullish. When it comes to Ethereum, I did not see a lot of volume breaking this structure right here at the 4,100. So I am actually expecting the price to go as further as this level right here before continue to rise again. However, the 3,700 level to me is an extremely key level. If we cross this level right here, we are going to flip bearish. XRP is still showing higher highs and higher lows, as we can see right here, but I do not see a lot of liquidation expected to be taken from the downside. Maybe we can get some choppiness before we continue to go up. Solana is in a similar situation to Ethereum. It's just broke the level right here, but I did not see a lot of volume. I expect the price to continue here, maybe ranging around this level and then continue to go up. Litecoin is still ranging quite below the 102 level, and I quite honestly do not expect a new blow off top like we had previously. Most likely we're gonna have a retest to the upside, but then definitely we'll continue to go down. XVG still did not hit a key level that I consider to be the 007,530, so I am expecting the price to actually make a decision to break out, retest, and then who knows, maybe one last trade before we continue to go down. And again, I believe that ZCash run is actually at the end. I don't think they are going to go further up from here, but in reality, maybe a retest to the upside, but further down. Tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.